其实还是不是很愿意遇到中国队的。
自己就小组赛的时候没有打得特别好，没有取得第一，就是感到很失望。然后至于对上皇族的话，也是就是没有办法的事情，只能就是尽自己全力，两个中国队伍把自己的中国战队的风采给打出来。
Welcome back to the 2014 League of Legends World Championship as I am joined here by Samsung Blues Dare after securing a spot in the semifinal yesterday. Dare, the first thing I want to ask you is, you guys have made it to the semifinal in very extraordinary fashion, yet it wasn't flawless. How does that make you reflect on your own performance?
다대 선수 안녕하세요. 지금 삼성 블루팀이 그 4강에 잘 안착하였지만 완벽한 경기력으로 올라온 것 같지 않다는 말들이 많은데 본인의 경기력에 대해서 평가해 주세요.
우선 조별 예선 때는 제가 활약할 기회가 없었다고 생각하고 이번 8강에서는 만족스럽게 한 것 같은데 마지막 부분에서 리신한테 차여가지고 게임을 끝낼 뻔해가지고 아직은 별로 만족스럽지 못하고 다음 경기 때 훨씬 더 잘해서 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
During the group stage, I don't think there are many opportunities for me to show my true skills yet. For quarterfinals, I think I was satisfied with my own performance, except for the last part when Meteos kicked me and my team almost lost. So for the semifinals, I hope I can play much better.
Talking about those semifinals, even though you guys have got the upper hand over White in Korea a lot, people are saying they're the favorites. What do you think that is?
올해 삼성 블루가 삼성 화이트 내전에서 많이 이겼음에도 불구하고 이번 다시 성사된 내전에서 많은 사람들이 화이트가 다시 또 우세할 거라는 의견이 많아요. 그거에 대해서 어떻게 생각하세요?
사실 이때까지 삼성 블루가 화이트 상대로는 거의 다 열세로 보셨었거든요. 근데도 저희가 다 이겼었고 이번에도 한번 열심히 해서 이겨보도록 하겠습니다.
Even when we beat Samsung White previously this year, many people thought that Samsung White had the upper hand, but we managed to beat them. So we really want to beat them once more, and we're going to try hard.
Well, we will see how that turns out. As for this game, Starhorn Royal Club versus EDG, what are your predictions for the series, Dara?
그럼 현재 경기 중인 EDG와 로열 클럽에서 누가 이길 것 같은지 한번 예상 좀 들려주세요.
이번에 승부가 갈린 게 처음 드래곤 싸움에서 클리어 러브 선수가 실수하면서 게임이 많이 굴러간 것 같은데 어떻게든 또 역전하는 모습도 보여줬거든요. 그래서 이번에 EDG는 클리어 러브 선수가 던지지만 않으면은 아직 예측할 수 없는 결과인 것 같아요.
So during the first game, when EDG's jungler Clear Love, he made a big mistake at the dragon fight. And I thought the game would end at that point, but I saw that EDG had the skills, good enough skills to come back. So I think as long as Clear Love doesn't make any more big mistakes, I can't really tell who's going to win.
All right, well, it's going to be an exciting matchup. In any case, thank you very much. We'll see you in the semifinals. And as for us, we're getting into game 2 with the casters.
Thank you very much, Shoxon. Well, Dare doesn't know who's going to win. So far, what we do know, though, is that Royal Club are up 1-0. And EDG, I guess we can say, continuing their shaky-looking form from the group stage.
Yeah, and I think a big adjustment they'd want to make going into this game is to try to get their own champions instead of trying to get Royal Club's champions. I do not want to see Clear Love play Lee Sin again. I would much rather he goes for something like Rengar or even Jarvan.
We will have to see. EDG did not get to play their stay-in lane for a long time and just get farmed. Starhorn Royal Club pushed them around, made them go to Baron at 21 minutes, which faltered for Starhorn, but they were able to pull that back around with great in-game calls, which we thought would be a bit shaky. That's more towards EDG's side. Now the picks and bans start. Rengar once again on the board. Yasuo going out this time versus Korn. Maybe his fizz will be up as we get through picks and bans.
Nope, apparently not, because the EDG decides to just get something gone right away. They really don't change up their bans all that much, wanting to first ban that Rengar, but this time they are the beneficiaries of that top lane rise.
Yeah, Rise coming through on this one. And instant lock-ins here, and of course the crowd here in Korea going a little crazy because Insec will get his hands on Lee Sin. We also see a Rumble pick here for Kohler coming down. So see how he's going to do on that one. Funnily enough, he's not had the biggest variety of champions throughout the tournament. In fact, he only played 2 in group stages and even moving through into game 1 of the quarterfinals as well. So new pick for Kohler, at least in this game.
We're going to have to see how his Rumble goes. China was a huge Rumble playing region. Also, I've heard from a few sources that Rumble is very, very good against Rise in lane. However, these are the types of teams to do lane swaps most of the time, especially from EDG's side and how well Royal Club likes to fast push. So don't think we can take too much from those picks yet.
Definitely work for Royal Club very well if EDG decides to continue fighting those early Barons, which again wasn't something we were expecting to see from them as they are risk averse towards those objectives in the early game. Korn looking to pick up the Orianna this time. Janna as well going in for 0 here. But Zed, picked up by you for this game coming in. A little bit of assassination for him.
Yeah, that obviously Name's big comfort pick. Played in the most in the group stages. Played in most during LPL, summer, and the playoffs as well. So Lucian is his big comfort pick. We'll see how he can bring it onto the table. Zed for you. I don't know. I mean, he's got a 100%. He's got a 100% win rate on Zed.
Definitely not known for his assassination play, that's for one. Throughout most of the LPL season, he was the passive farming mid laner. But things call for a different variety when you're up against Uzi. I feel like they literally just want Zed to go and try and zone Uzi out of fights. But with the John and Orianna already there to protect on Royal Club's side, I don't know how well it's going to work.
Which possibly coming in for Uzi. Making his own plays is what he likes to do. Looks like he'll be able to do that this time as he gets going and gets out of lane. Could see Starhorn going a little bit harder out of the lanes in this one to get those for him.
FCZF also taking Thresh. For me, was his most impressive champion. Big playmaker on that one. Also, on the other side, since the bans came in the picks came in so quickly here, Korn getting over to Orianna. Also, for me, had a good showing during those group stages with that Orianna as well. In fact, has a 3 wins out of 3. Can't get better than that.
I'm a little bit surprised by the Twitch pick, if I'm going to be completely honest. Obviously, they have some good protection here, but there's a lot of stuff that just wants to run right at Uzi, and he does not have very high mobility on that champion. Maybe this would have been a Trist or even a Caitlyn game like we saw him break out in group stage, but he's got to be very precise with his positioning, whereas I find Uzi to be a great reactive positioner in team fights, and it doesn't seem to suit him very well, but that's why we play the games.
Well, I mean, Uzi has shown already that he can be aggressive. You could also argue that Twitch for him, once he gets to that point, play to the Ruin King in there, maybe the Ghost Blade, he's one that's going to be halfway on the enemy's side of the map trying to pick off people 1 versus 1. We'll see how that all works out for him, though. I mean, from this point on, it's really up to EDG to show us what they're made of in this one. Behind 1-0, of course, against Royal Club.
While we're in the calm before the storm, remember, send your Game 2 predictions to @LOL Esports with the hashtag EDGWin or the hashtag SHRWin. We're going to be jumping into this one right away, and it's going to have to be weighing on the minds of EDG. Can they pull this one back fast? Are they going to try to go for a late game? Because they know they're going to get pressured right off the bat.
So here we go then, into Game 2. EDG on the back foot in the best of 5. And that being possibly the key number, it's a best of 5, which means that, you know, it's going to be hard to call it at this stage. Only 1 game in, we've seen the best of the best teams really adapting as they move through these best of 5. Samsung White, of course, lost their, Samsung Blue lost their first game yesterday as well.
Yeah, and if we think back to history, Insec knows a lot about best of 5s as well. He has a history when he was in Korea on the KT Bullets of winning the first 2 games of a best of 5.
And losing lots after.
And then losing the next 3. Let's hope for Insec's sake he doesn't have to go through that. If he is to lose the series, I hope it's not from a 2-0-0-3, just for his own mental state.
So apparently one of the players here has a slight keyboard issue, which is going to be fixed up any second. We should be getting straight back into this one. It seems it was possibly Name there. The admin stood behind him we'll have a look at that one. Either way, we are going to be getting back into it. Didn't miss much, only 20 seconds into this second game.
They got to be careful. Things happened early last game, but we are in without any action to be had because they haven't met up yet. We'll see who gets the first bit of damage and draws the drip of first blood, and not the full first blood here. Looks like it goes to a Ward, unfortunately. Poor Ward. We'll see Corn now on the Orianna, trying to control that mid lane for the team. See what you can provide with this Zed. Once again, a little bit of jungle dance coming in from Insect, playing the crowd. We know it's Uzi really with the stage experience here for Starhorn Royal Club, while Clearlove in both FCZF has been on the world stage. Seem a little bit more calmer in the situation.
Yeah, think all the way back to Season 2, Team W made it to the semifinals. Obviously, Clearlove and FCCF have been around for a really long time, made the jump to EDG to hopefully have a better chance at Worlds, and it really all comes down to this for them. They now have to win 3 of the next 4 games, which even for a consistent team, is not that easy to do.
Obviously, every time the camera pans over to Insect, the crowd goes just a little bit wild here in Busan. And why not? A definite legend in his own right. There's not many players out there who have a specific move named after them. But we'll see if you can do any Insects this game, that's for sure. Up to now, though, it looks like we're going to see something a little bit funky, possibly out of both teams. EDG, 3 men down on the bottom side of River. Royal Club have 4 men on the top side of that mid lane. EDG are going for blue, same on the other side of the map.
Yeah, EDG's level 1 strategy last game granted them 3 buffs. They go with a much more conservative style this time. They're literally just rushing all 4 in to the lane that they are planning on lane swapping. It is Royal Club this time who initiates the lane swap, which isn't surprising considering Uzi is on Twitch. Uzi typically doesn't want to lane swap that much, but in this matchup he has to.
Zero probably running those AD runes on this one this time. If he is, we'll take a look, but that fast push is really what they want to get to with that if he does. Free farm for Uzi in the top lane and free farm for Name in the bottom lane. We haven't really seen our featured matchup get together and kind of go face to face just yet in the lanes, but I'm sure it's going to happen. 37 and 38 minutes are the average times for these teams. So for that game to go in favor of Royal Club so quickly in the first game, very surprising. We'll see if they can keep the same pressure up as we come to game 2 here. Clearlove keeping it mirrored with the rest of the team.
And I always find it so interesting in these Royal Club versus EDG games how just because Royal decides to fast push, EDG just matches them instead of trying to freeze. They've had enough experience of trying to freeze while the other lane is fast pushing and then losing out to the eventual roam. But honestly, it's what Royal Club wants. EDG is just kind of buying into it. They're not trying a counter strategy. They're just playing the same way, which really fits in to what Royal Club wants to do.
So junglers being joined by their top laners and funnily enough their supports at this stage as well. 3 men going to go towards middle. There is the Howling Gale towards FCZF, but Korn is kind of headed out. There's the prison into the hook for Zero. Not the damage there though. They're going to try and turn this one around, and Koro forced to flash away.
That was like literally mirrored from what Royal Club did last game with the Rise.
Yeah, except the big difference here is Royal Club was ready for the play. It was just everybody partying in the mid lane. It's what they expected from the collapse. It's actually a fairly common EDG thing when they're lane swapping, just collapse mid. Oftentimes they do it at level 1. This time it happened a little later.
Like this move from EDG though. Whoa, flash hook from FCZF, forces a flash out of Zero, and they went with those 4 men straight to the bottom lane. And that meant the Royal Club said, well, actually, we can't hang around here. We're 3 versus 4. We have to go away, even getting that flash out of Zero.
Something that teams try to do against Rumbles and lane swaps is completely deny him so he can't get level 6 for that pivotal dragon fight. This time, Royal Club was trying to send a support and jungler down to the bottom lane, which if EDG would have met with 4 under the turret, they would not have been able to dive and Rumble could have got farm. But because EDG beat them to the punch and caught them in lane, it completely denies them back into their base and was a great win for EDG.
Just because they played as the slowest team throughout the regular season and were a different Chinese playstyle doesn't mean they can't switch it up, and they go aggressive early game. EDG now going for Dragon as well on this one. Gaining great ground, going to get a nice influx of gold here as well. Start off game 2 on the right foot. A little bit of pressure though. They've
EDG was not killing that fast for one, and they're also taking far too many hits from Dragon.
Yeah.
when they're trying to bounce its aggro back and forth with the Thresh moves. That's what players are trying to do there. Dragon has a very slow auto attack animation, so if you can make it switch targets by having someone be closer to it at the time, it just will never attack. But they couldn't get the spacing right, they couldn't get the timing right, they took too much damage and eventually had to back away.
So, first turret of the game did go down for EDG. Name took that pretty much solo by the end. Uzi actually decided not to completely push that one out, and that top turret has survived. In fact, he started a recall and then cancelled that and now went back into lane, which could mean that this turret stays alive for now, because we are seeing Name and FCZF both headed towards that top side of the map.
Yeah, that's absolutely what happened there. Uzi getting a little greedy too. Nice jukes.
So patient, not to panic there.
Yeah, Uzi just time and time again has shown his reason for being the best AD carry in China. Such a great performance thus far. It was great last game. Still got to see how his Twitch plays out.
Well, the timing was great for Name and FCZF to come back up top. The back there from Uzi, and that's going to put him back down in the bottom lane to get this farm. If Koro actually decides to push it, looks like he's getting a pretty good freeze on it here. But we know Uzi is not afraid to take a few steps forward to get that farm for himself, even if not warded. Still Pinks going down towards the Dragon. Pinks are trying to be covered up here by Royal Club, so they're protecting those as well as using those.
Right,
that ward
though.
Hatching that one right
Ward not
off.
in range. However, I mean, they know what the push is happening top lane. Royal Club is literally trading this for their second turret of the game. They are the ones getting pretty heavily fast pushed by Lucian. They're not going toe-to-toe with him. Instead, they're trying to take Dragon and keep Gold close.
And they're going to take that Dragon. First one of the game going over to Royal Club. However, second turret of the game may be going EDG's way, as by means of answering that, and especially now as Clearlove will head towards the top side of the map, means that Cola completely just needs to back away from this one. Definitely can't be going up against three men, and Name will safely secure his second turret of this game.
Cola remembering what's happened to Rumbles in the top lane when they can't see much around them, getting quite punished throughout the games to try and shut down the ability he brings just by hitting level 6. Uzi and Zero pushing the lane quite well here in the bottom. Not much. Looks like they're actually going to back. There was Insect looking for something as well.
And there's actually been good defensive play throughout this game. Cola has yet to overcommit for a turret where he would have gotten dived and die here. Royal Club really just trying to trade as many objectives as they can, but they're not having the team to do so at the moment, and they're really just trying to play defense. Name is getting pretty scary.
We talked about communication issues, and this is how you force that into Royal Club. They're forced to be around the map now, calling it for Insect. This is where they have to play the ping game. Shots coming in. Name 6. Does he have enough mana? Uses for Relentless Pursuit. He has the calling still to come out on this one, but they're able to finalize the kill on Cola. Pulling up first blood there. It's the exhaust coming out as well, but a double kill in for Unstoppable. That's you in the mid lane, and they get exactly what they want. We're only 8.5 minutes in.
Hey, you hasn't played Zed much, but when he does, he goes 2-0 at the start of the game. That was a really good dive by EDG. It's one of the big reasons we actually don't see much split pushing out of this region, because they are so willing and so crisp when they dive turrets, especially as 5 people here 8 minutes into the game. The fast push is working, the lane presence from Korn is non-existent, which is what allowed you to roam up there, and they make short work of more turrets and players.
Uzi this entire time been trying to take down the first turret of the game for Royal Club. It's taken him a hell of a long time. Of course, couldn't be involved on that top side of the map. He's going to have to tank up the turret here for a single hit, but will finally get rid of that one, which leaves the gold at 1,500 in the favor of EDG. Could look a lot worse if they'd not interrupted that first Dragon attempt.
Yeah, EDG would be in a gargantuan gold advantage early on if that hadn't happened. This is more of the objective team style of EDG that I think many EDG fans expected to see here. They are quick and decisive. They're not necessarily taking it all the way to the late game, but that's because they picked a composition that doesn't want to wait around, and they're showing they can play fast.
Play fast indeed. 2 kills already over to you. Very nicely done there. Korn got the same thing last time for his Lulu. But it's the question now, can EDG hold the lead just as well? Probably won't see them going for Baron at 21 minutes, but it's definitely a possibility. Blue buff being transferred over to you here. He's already picked up a Brutalizer as well, so he can really put down some damage on Korn in that mid lane. 2 exhausts coming out from Royal Club on this. So once those are gone, he's going to have a field day.
So at the moment, EDG is just continuing to push around, even with the two exhausts. They're not able to get the timing down right. Nami's just going from lane to lane, pushing, taking pressure. At the moment, Corn needs to have some presence in the mid lane, even just the slightest, but it's so hard for him because he's already lost side turrets, and they can't have pink ward control in these side lanes because Name is going wherever he wants.
And now, 3 of them going to group up, make that 4 actually. Clearlove going to join into this one, and Royal Club are just miles away. There is the shockwave flashed away from Zero, coming a bit far out. The hook doesn't quite land onto him. There's the culling to make sure that Royal Club back away.
More good defensive play right there. Uzi going a little bit aggressive.
Oh, great pull on the exhaust. The alt shadow reused from you, and he pulls back to safety on that one. So they get out just what they want. That alt up before the exhaust. Very much so. Zero's going to have his, though. 2 minutes onto Dragon, so EDG is going to have to keep this pressure up, not let Royal Club get the wards down that they want. So far, great deep coverage from EDG with wards.
It is something we noted in their first game against Samsung White. Even though they didn't win, EDG has definitely stepped it up in the warding department for most of their games. And for you, we really need to watch him closely this entire game because Zed is really difficult to team fight with, let alone against 2 exhausts. And with how decisive teams are at initiating, setting up split pushes, especially against Twitch too, if he's able to get a QSS later in the game, is really hard. I want to see if he can pull this off.
Well, for now, he couldn't even recall. Zero came in, managing to spot him thanks to that ward placement. Meanwhile, we have Insect and Cola pushing through this top rush. But look at this, Clearlove, FCZF, both there. The timings could be really interesting in this one. Clearlove is gone. FCZF is also gone. There is still the tower behind Koro, though. And it looks like Insect may be recalling himself.
Patience is a virtue.
I wonder how long he's willing to stick around up there. That's a lot of setup time lost, but yeah, Koro is playing decidedly patient. Nice work.
Wow. Name forcing himself into a flash position there, a little too aggressive. Didn't know Zero was just on the backside, but able to use that scrying orb to keep himself safe. Know that Insect is not coming into the bottom lane. With that, they didn't even know he was top lane there as well, so Koro had that game sense to keep himself safe and keep his flash.
Just not the right timings here for Royal Club. A in the top lane, and B, no Blade of the Ruined King on Uzi for the next Dragon, especially when they're trying to do setup. He needs to farm a little bit longer. You can tell he doesn't want to go back to base until he has the Blade of the Ruined King, which will expose them, and EDG should be able to take this Dragon.
Yeah, going to be no contest on this one. They'll take it down far too quickly. You've gone for that pickaxe after his cutlass and that brutalizer as well, so spreading his items out somewhat. It's Name. Aggressive dash there through into the tri-bush. Clearlove forced to flash away from Insect, who is level 7, so the kick would have maybe knocked him into the rest of Royal Club, but now they are going to try and get towards Name. There is the dark passage to get him onto safety. The Q does land though. Insect tries to get behind him. He kicks Name, but against the wall. There's also the hook coming in. Meanwhile, Koro has teleported down, and Royal Club, just like that, are on the back foot. Koro got the speed here from his ultimate running, but with Orianna there, it might be too dangerous to keep going. Cola though off to the side, force the flash. There's the shockwave. They're going to maybe turn this one around. Zed diving in as well. Cola's going to go low. Will he be finished? Yes, he will. Killing spree now for you.
That's going to be the chase. No, they're going to stop. Good dissonance, but very low mana. Corn and Uzi are actually still trying to chase this. That means Uzi gets caught. He tries to jump in for the kill. That's not going to be what he wanted. More kills coming up for Uzi. Picks that up onto Koro. That no dissonance to follow, but they are going to be able to lock down the quadra kill for Uzi. What aggression for Insect to start the fight. Go down, but Royal Club still turning it in their favor.
The fights just didn't really stop when you expected them to. Even in the mid lane with Insect trying to get more aggressive. 4 kills onto Uzi is miraculous for Royal Club after the way that fight began. They got enough retaliation damage down. When Corn landed that shockwave, it was just a matter of Uzi being willing to pop out of stealth. This fight was just so long.
Bit of that aggression we had talked about before.
At the start, Insect gets a little baited by his own namesake. Name knew it was coming, does not get kicked into the equalizer, which obviously puts them on the run. Here, the collapse is also pretty good from the rest of EDG. Koro flashes for the Rune Prison, and Yu does a fair bit of work, getting everyone pretty low. But at this point, you can really see where they're getting a little bit baited. FCZF and Koro have no business chasing when they know Uzi can go stealth. Name as well takes way too much poke, and you can see it in EDG's eyes that they went a little too far. Obviously, when the hook landed, it just exacerbated the issue because they thought they'd be able to turn. And those 4 kills on Uzi will have to carry the game for Royal Club because no one else really got stuff from that fight.
Chasing, going for the fight, being turned around on you and then turning it around once again right at the very end. Crazy, crazy stuff. Leaves us at 5-4 in kills. 3-1 though. EDG lead on turrets and therefore gold with a 2,000 lead at this point. We look down at some of the items. Rumble got the Haunting guys, got those Sorcerer shoes, so he's ready to go. Blade of the Ruin King and Brutalizer for Uzi, thanks to those 4 kills, and that makes him all the more dangerous.
Yeah, but we really have to pay attention to the gold distribution. 4 kills going on to Uzi, but specifically in the back end of that fight, I mean, Cola and Insect were not involved in that whatsoever. There's a 1,200 gold difference between top laners, a 700 gold difference between junglers, and it's all on Uzi to make a play. Oh dear.
This could be bad. Definitely going to mean Uzi has to rush a Quicksilver Sash throughout this game. Yu's going to be able to get himself out. Uzi stays alive with the help of 2 shields. That's the pop-up from Monsoon, trying to hit it. Insect locked it down. Sonic Wave, the resonating strike, and another kill for him. That's a shutdown of 3 kills over onto Yu. And it looks like Korn right now trying to push back with Cola.
Yep.
There's a response as well from Zero coming through the jungle.
There's some big pushing going on. They couldn't finish off that mid lane turret. Now it's all about how fast Royal Club can push this bottom lane before they collapse.
And they're going to come down through the jungle here. It's all going to be up to Zero to stop them pushing right through. And there it is. They're deciding to pull away. Nice little Howling Gale onto FCZF so he couldn't get in hook range. However, Cola and Korn now turning up the heat on this middle lane, just pulling EDG between middle and bottom.
Again, I am always impressed with how Royal Club can move around the map when you consider the language barrier. They seem really in sync right now, knowing when to go in and out. It's because they play so much off of instinct, and innately, you have to have a lot of trust in one another, which they've been able to accomplish here.
Playing off of instinct and Insect right now. At least 2 people always following him around in that little party of trouble that they have going on. Just previously, it was Korn and Zero, or rather, yeah, Korn and Zero with the shields. Now we see Yu going for the split push, trying to keep himself safe. Probably doesn't want to get himself in any trouble, so he's going to do what he can to pick up everything without needing the team to assist.
And while we have a second in this incredibly crazy game, I do want to talk about Insect's Lee Sin, and one of the reasons I like watching it so much. Every single time he lands a resonating strike, whether it's true or not, the opponent expects to be kicked backwards. It creates so much more zoning potential with Insect playing Lee Sin than with pretty much anyone else playing Lee Sin. And we kind of see the impacts in this game here, is if he takes a resonating strike, people are instantly flashing away, instantly dashing away, even if the rest of his team isn't there, because they expect the kick backwards.
Well, there is that final outer turret taken down. Turret number 4, of course, along with that inner top turret that EDG took down earlier on. Leaves them still only 2,000 gold in the lead. We've got Dragon in 30 seconds. This is going to be a big Dragon for both of these teams, and EDG already lying in wait for it.
And Thresh in conjunction with Vision Control is one of the scariest things you'll ever see. However, EDG's got to attain that Vision Control before they can successfully poach around this Dragon. With that being said, though, unless Uzi can get in position, this would be another Dragon for EDG to take. Cola would have to teleport in. Oh dear.
Oh dear, that is an oh dear. A good disengage, however. They quickly back themselves off. And Skara pretty much right on that tweet. Once these fights start, be surprised if there was a double ace on the map, or wouldn't be surprised, I should say. EDG again replacing the wards. They're getting swept out. I think that drowns out Royal Club for being able to sweep anymore. Their brooms are full. Looks like the mid turret's going to go down for that as well. A little bit of trading gold here. Nice breathing room given by the calling, but it is not enough. The disengage. Zero loving those champions. He's able to throw out the monster.
Here they go.
No, they flashed in for this one. Right on the Korn. He will not be getting out alive. Not even close to Azania's yet. They trade one FCZF, but it is going to be out Clear Love going down. Flash is being blown to continue the fight on. Name gets hit up. A double kill now for Uzi within this fight. He's 6-0-2
Yeah.
on the 20-minute mark.
Joe said it right. That's Baron after wrecking everybody on that team, only losing Corrin. What would EDG try and do? They have some low death timers and a teleporting Rise. We've seen crazier things than a Rise going in 1v4.
Koro might just have his ulti up available
I don't
as well
think they have wards.
before this
I
Baron
don't think
goes
they can
down.
TP in.
No, there's no ward. Nope, nowhere near it. It'd have to be going into middle lane there. But
painful Baron.
Kola going a little bit low. Oh, Zero taking that big hit as well. They should be able to juggle this one out with those heals being used. Summoning heal.
Oh my God.
Kola is not low. Here comes Koro and FTZF. Well, they are going to be able to get the Baron, but will they be able to get out? Uzi goes down. They end up losing Kola. Insect will fall as well. They get Baron, but they lose 3.
Was that a replay from last game? It was close to. Except this time, the gold is dead even afterwards. We get to look at the fight that happened way before all this, and that equalizer was on point. It completely disengaged EDG. Even if they were able to lose Orianna, the line damage from Twitch and Rumble was way too much for EDG to handle. We said it's really hard for a Zed to team fight. We kind of saw it there. Despite getting the catch, there was no follow-up. He basically traded his life 1 for 1, and then the rest of them fell because Twitch was able to open up in prime position.
Really only getting that AoE out of Coral right now, but the AoE from Royal Club able to come out very big in the fights. Even up on the scoreboard and even up on gold.
So Jack, I'm going to go back to that Soul Stealer now instead of the
The Nami.
Well, not instead of the Nami. Instead, oh, never mind. They're going for Yui. They're going to use that shockwave that they saved before. Yui's probably going to go down, but will he take home with him? He will. And then even flashing away. And I don't think Zero's even got the damage to finish that. There's a Lantern, which times out just before Yu actually gets on top of it. Gets the kill and will be able to move away. Mikhail's Crucible is what I was trying to say.
And wouldn't the heal from Mikhail's have been nice there on top of the Janna shield to try and save them from you? Not to mention if Uzi ever gets caught by a Thresh hook, especially since he's building towards an Infinity Edge with his next item, it's a very high-risk strategy here going with the Soul Stealer. But that's the way Zero rolls. Boots of mobility, Captain Boots, Soul Stealer. That's his build. That's just what he does, and they take their chances elsewhere.
Take their chances and really get that forward motion engage going on. He's going to be in the front. Everybody's going to be following. So far, so good on a few of the fights. But now EDG starting to take their edge back over in kills. Looking at you to make a big impact as he goes back to the bottom lane with Baron down. Map a bit objective free here so they can do what they want without too much of that topside pressure. Looks like EDG's going for a death squad though as they stick together. Not getting too antsy as they clear out wards before moving in.
Yeah, and they're just so grouped up here. There's actually very limited wave or vision control on the map, which for Royal Club prompts them to group up and run at people because that's the way they can get vision. If they're forcing fights, they can take some of the control back. That's why we see all of them amid. They're daring EDG to fight right now.
And that ball from Orianna can be used to just zone them out. For example, that side push there from the Wraith so incredibly well. In the end, EDG do get him away from the tower after just a couple of auto attacks came down. However, FCZF there will be warded out. Was recalling, I think that was more of a bait to see if there was vision on top of him. But Royal Club gonna move him once again. Gonna bring the culling out of Name here, which doesn't take the full wave, but it's gonna be enough to stop the push for now.
Talking about being able to give each other vision. Like you said, the ball, also Insac hitting great sonic waves just on the side, revealing the entire team at times. And EDG's just kind of stuck trying to fight these reactively. As we've said before, that's really in Starhorn Royal Club's favor at this point. Great wards on the left and right side so they can focus on this mid turret. Just wait for the wave, and it's going to be a siege on this one. They should be able to get a few pop shots on the turret. That ball, again, to zone it out. But the Spell Flux, they don't even have that much wave clear, but they're giving a lot of respect here to EDG.
Yeah, I really think this is just Royal Club's attempt at trying to neutralize the lack of vision they have on the map overall. They're probably trying to do this until the Dragon comes up, and then since they have prime position on the map, would then go. Also, though, they have some pretty nice poke going on with the Orianna, and they're trying to punish EDG's somewhat lackluster wave clear here, getting slow damage on the turret.
Managing to take clear of low again. The culling though will be coming up, and that turret slowly but surely is taking wave after wave after wave, but Royal Club are managing to get in there. Again, the fear of Insect, whose flashes back up of him
Yeah.
landing a Q even behind the turret is pretty scary still here, I think, especially if the shockwave's on top of him.
And we mentioned how Royal Club uses smart pings and pings frequently there. They just ping the top and bottom waves because they know the other waves are shoving, and something has to happen shortly.
They're definitely getting what they want out of it. They don't need any vision control around them. Even with 2 sight stones, they see the entire team of EDG in front of them. Now they're gonna start to go through the jungle and get those wards down. Pink wards as well as vision wards to keep themselves safe, and a very tough turret to guard, especially when you're on the back foot. EDG may be losing this one as well quite easily. They have a great wave in the top lane. We talked about the wave in the bottom.
There it is.
Looking for Clear Love. Insect kick right away. Yu goes in, pulling back to his ultimate. And it looks like he's going to stay alive. He lives in the monster for just a little bit, but he's not out of danger yet. Has to flash over the wall so he doesn't eat the culling. Slowing down Koro so he can't get around the outside with his ultimate
Is
as
he
well.
going for it?
That would be a deadly thing to do. They give Uzi the movement speed. He's got a few more shields from the backside, but it looks like they have to back off for this one. Get a little overzealous there, and they choose the right call.
He had 130 health, and he was attempting to go up on a half health rise. That's how much confidence this kid plays with. But other than that, Royal Club successful sieging.
Do it again.
Another catch. Nice insect play. That was actually a new age insect where he alt flashed to give an instant kickback. It's something that can't reactively be fought against. Gets such a nice kill onto Clear Love and ends up pulling Royal Club into the lead.
And let's watch this one again and just watch how ballsy Uzi is. Even when he goes low, he doesn't use his flash. He dodges everything instead.
Yeah, well, he didn't want to leave the sweet home of that 0 heal either. Then dodge. Then he decides to go back and forth, flashes away from the culling. Really in the moment play. And we thought maybe he wouldn't be able to pull off that stuff on Twitch because he's a lower mobility champion, but just the slightest of movements back and forth can be the difference.
Mechanically sound so well. He's had quite a few good plays in that side of the jungle from Worlds. It looks like another one comes out as well. 25 seconds on to Baron. Looks like Royal Club's going to do a little bit of cleanup work, janitorial duty on the lanes before they really want to get themselves into any more trouble.
Use time is almost up here as well. If 2 exhausts weren't already hard enough, we've got the Zhonya's in there now for Cola. We'll be seeing Korn have a Zhonya's before long as well. He's already got that Seeker's arm guard in position, so that's going to make it so difficult to be finding a target in these fights.
You don't see it too often as far as finding targets, but it's a Warmog's armor on Insect's Lee Sin before any of the other tank items. So definitely trying to give general tank stats, maxing health, and more importantly, some health regen for the long-standing sieges they're going to try and do here. But it's the Zed split push. It's kind of what you have to do since the team fighting against Twitch and 2 exhausts isn't going well. But as soon as you see a split pusher, Royal Club tries to fight.
Look how scared they are. He's not even got a flash available to get behind him. And, well...
He's got that Sightstone ward, though. Could
yeah, that's true.
Pop him down.
Really seeing the warding here go to the wayside for EDG, not even filling their inventory open slots with wards. They may have 2 on the map right now. Royal Club sitting pretty in the Baron pit. We have the blue elixir just used onto Cola as well for a bit of extra damage, so this fight's going to hurt that much more coming from the AoE part. Insect able to show himself, but no worry there. They make a good push on the bottom lane here if you can do what he can to get this turret down.
We know where Zed is, so at this point it's no longer about baiting Baron. It's Royal Club just starting it. They will peel the fight, I think, unless EDG decides to not go for it.
Well, they're not going to go for it, or if they do, they're going to be very slow. They finally do start moving in, but Uzi, he's getting ready to move. He's spotted FCZF. There's the speed up. He's going to go in for him. There's the slow, the Q lens from Insect. Where's the follow-up? They're on top of him. There's the kick away from the team, funnily enough. That Q land is going to be Uzi to get another one. They try and blast him down from the side. There's the Monsoon coming out. Uzi gets all the shield. In comes Yu. Yu will actually go down. It's an auto attack in the end and a double for Uzi. Insect still continues through as well. Name trying to escape. Will blast down one, but not the other. And now it's all on Koro. Left running away with 0 on no HP. Takes him down. That's a big burst. Looks like Uzi and Cola really want this final kill, and they'll get it for the ace.
And at the end of the day, it's now a 10-0 Twitch and another Baron. That fight was crazy. That's for one thing. As soon as they decide to go, they go. But I'm very surprised that EDG even collapsed there with Zed. They had a split push going. They could have gotten an inhibitor if they just conceded the Baron. Other than that, though, the fight itself was very crazy. Unbelievable team synergy to know they need to pile the shields onto Uzi. Everything gets exhausted. Lee Sin, Janna, Orianna, and exhaust at just the right moment. Make it a hopeless amount of misery for you, Zed, in team fights because he can't do what he wants.
Almost
Unreal.
questioning. They would have not going for Baron while somebody's doing it, but then wanting to fight them after they get the buff. Almost a sign of tilt here coming in.
During the replay, we just have to point out, Uzi, for some unknown reason, stuck around and killed SCZF when he went back to
Of course he did, because he had full health. He would have stuck around with 100 health.
So at that point where he's been blown up basically from the side by Ryze, I think most players instinctively would say, summon a heal, summon a heal. Didn't even use it, didn't even use it while he was being burst down. Zero needs to be careful here, there's a trap, and it's a 4-man trap. But he's got Insect there, who just cues into the brush and sees said trap waiting for them. And that won't be a problem. Royal Club extending their lead now to almost 6,000 gold. Can EDG hold on to this inner turret in the bottom lane? There's no got to Insect, but he's super tanky.
So many shields to come in as well. The ball control to make sure nobody's in the brush. They're going to be able to clear out this ward. Royal Club, like you said, extending that lead and doing it so far, always being down in just the first inch of the game. Somehow always reacting better, always bringing themselves up top, and now taking the bottom inhibitor turret to push the base.
And now with Baron, Royal Club has already shown superiority in team fights. They've already sieged down turrets without a gold lead, without a Baron buff, and without 11 kills onto Twitch. Things are looking very grim for EDG right now.
Yeah, and I was talking about time frames for you. The Zhonya's coming in now is done for Khorne, and there's a Quicksilver Sash finish for Uzi as well. So, more and more difficult as things go. Royal Club knocking on the door of the base. Top lane will be slowly, but will be pushing in their favor. Mid lane, sadly for them, is going the other way. Equalizer comes down. Looks like it's just to force them off the tower.
Not the best equalizer at the moment, but a pretty fed Twitch. Everyone runs. Whoa!
It doesn't have to be the best equalizer when you got Uzi with shields on him going in. Both members now, Insect and Uzi, picking up a kill for themselves. Clear Love and Koro running for Solace on the fountain. That's pretty much all they got. Not even enough for home guards, so they're slowly refilling their health bars here. They're going to lose the inhibitor, and it doesn't look like they're going to stop. Royal Club with shields are going to start base tanking these turrets. The slow, so they can't get in. Uzi would be able to take them out anyways. Cola got to be a little careful here, and they don't have any waves, so they might back, but it's Royal Club.
Well, Uzi is somewhat fed at this point. They get one. Koro has to run away once again to heal up on the fountain. Uzi was tanking the Nexus turret there for a second. They need to get rid of that one and juggle the aggro. They finally do. Koro comes back in. He will fall. It's another kill for Uzi at 14-1-6. FTZF comes on through, but the Nexus goes down, and Royal Club move to game point.
Wow. What a carry that time by Uzi. And the rest of his team just supporting him throughout the game. There was this pretty protect the Name composition in game one, and he was actually unable to carry in that way. The Twitch, though, in this one, getting the quadra kill early on in the game, and then just using that power to roam around as 5. Never allow the split push to start from EDG's U, and just destroy and demolish everyone on EDG. It was impressive.
Definitely following a lot of Insect play in that game. Doesn't matter what the calls are or the pings, they see Insect go in and they follow the unrelenting aggression that he brings to the table, and it's starting to pay off. A few times he went down first, but we even saw that fight go across the bottom lane and then back in the favor of Royal Club after they just kind of strung out EDG.
And that's just how kind of fine that fight was, that one team starts it, they realize, okay, we're getting a little bit low here. They lose Insect, of course, at the start, push all the way back, and then just that, they managed to get Uzi in stealth. Plus, the shockwave did enough damage, and they're like, okay, we can actually just turn this one right on its head. And those kind of calls from a team that doesn't speak one unified, strong language, for me, is very impressive.
Yeah, the thing is, they've been playing together now for a decent amount of time. Trial and error, in a sense. Do we go in? Generally, the answer is yes, and everyone has that innate sense of trust in each other, and it really shows. I guess it's not too hard to say, all right, if they go for Twitch, everybody shield Twitch, right? As far as the team composition goes, maybe the Ryze brings a lot of AoE damage. They exhaust Zed right away. Piling on that singular target wasn't that bad for them, and boy, did it pay off.
And it's amazing the way they look at the Baron. So early, it's kind of just like the fight ring. It's like, you know what? If we lose this, if we don't, it's fine. It's just kind of a part we're going to fight in the game. We get it, it's even better. But it doesn't affect their mentality if they all go down once they get it or don't.
Amazing stuff from Royal Club. We're going to go over to Quickshot and the guys to take us through the ins and outs of Game 2.
Thank you very much, guys. Despite Edward Gaming kicking off fairly convincingly in the early game, getting some map control and map presence, Royal Club bouncing back from a fed Uzi. We've got a bunch of replays. Let's pull the first one right up onto your screen. And Crepo, talk me through the setup to this play and then the play itself.
Basically, what happened in the early game is that EDG played a sort of fast push, like lane swap style, and the biggest thing to note is that when they went bottom lane, they denied the rumble off the tower, got that tower with multiple people a lot quicker than UZI could take even down his first tower of the top lane. They rotated back around, went top lane, and they put even more tower pressure. If you roll the clip right here, we can see what's leading up to that. Yu leaves the mid lane. Three people try to defend that tower top, but it's just way too many. Instant teleport comes in, Clearlove goes in, Zed goes in, and just a simple cleanup. Good heal there on Clearlove as well. Zero gets popped as well. And this is what I like, but initially about EDG, up until the point where they throw the game later, they played fast push towers against a team that's notorious for fast pushing in LPL anyways. They do it properly, they zone off the right people at the right moments, and they get ahead.
Insec really did not have the same level of early game impact that he did in game 1 of the series. It felt like Edward Gaming had sort of figured out a way to deal with Starhorn Royal Club. What was it that, cost him a little bit, Freak?
Well, to me, part of the reason that Insec is being held down is lane swaps are very easy to track junglers in. Yeah. In general, you just don't defend like your turret as a top lane or 0v2 because you can't see them. And so there's not a lot of gank opportunities. We saw the mid lane gank, EDG doing the one that Starhorn did. Starhorn's ready for it, though. And so it's actually pretty easy to keep track of an early game jungler. And then if you're making the aggressive moves, like the high percentage plays, right, the Lucian's going to be better than anyone else in the game early on. Like, there's no ganks there. You don't gank 4 people pushing your turret down. You try to defend, and you can't. So that was, I think, very good by EDG to fast push to kind of counteract Lee Sin early power.
Yeah, that lead that they built up, however, was completely thrown away when they overcommitted to a bottom lane team fight, which is our second replay. I know, Double, if you were particularly excited about Uzi in this moment, so let's roll the clip out, and Double, if you can talk us through it.
Yeah, so Starhorn Royal Club, actually, you can roll the replay. Starhorn Royal Club actually has the jump on them right here. They're the ones who are aggressing, and you can see that Yu is kind of lagging behind. He's a little bit, just a tiny bit behind Orianna, but because they're on EDG's side of the map, Insec dies really quickly. There's that teleport that kind of zones them away and makes them indecisive for a split second. And then now it's just, let's chase. It's clearly that they have the numbers advantage. It's 4 versus 5. Obviously, the natural thing to do is to chase. But you can see here why. Well, that was a big miscommunication right there as well. And this 2-man shockwave, it's still okay. It's still okay to go in. It's really just Name who kind of drops the ball in a couple seconds. This Zed ulti is totally fine. You can see right here, Name turns around and auto-attacks the cannon minion and leaves himself vulnerable. He's just choking. I have no other explanation for that. He just turned around, hit a cannon minion, and just died for free. And then this is just Uzi's incredible mechanics.
Yeah, Uzi's about to clean up here. A couple things I want to point out about the replay. The miscommunication, especially Ryze flash snaring, Thresh hooking the wrong target. I think if the Thresh hook was angled upwards, he would have either gotten Uzi or just Rumble flashing into his hook. And so that's miscommunication. On top of that, on Zero's point, I think his exhaust was a tad early. He could have saved his teammate because exhaust is a 0.5 seconds shorter cooldown than Zed's Deathmark last. But Zero played so well. I think all our eyes are on Uzi every fight, but Zero is doing everything to keep him alive. Every monsoon, every tornado is just spot on perfect. Every exhaust except for that one was perfect. That guy is just so good.
And this is what I like about this team comp is, a bunch of shields you can put on teammates. Zero, again, doing really well with Janna. We do have actually our third replay, which continues to show just how much this team is good at protecting Uzi here. So this is after a Baron cleanup. And the big things to watch for, one is Uzi's patience. He doesn't ult until it's ready to go. And then 2, just watch how quickly his team is ready to defend. So roll the clip out. It starts with the team forced to run away. And again, it's going to be watch the tornado that comes out from the Janna here. Watch how quickly Insec and Korn turn around to defend Uzi. Uzi still has not ulted, by the way. He's learned Youmu's to move faster to catch people, but he ults now once it starts. Watch the tornado. Ryze shows up. Tornado's already there to slow him down. Lifesteal through the Wraith. Now watch this. Shields are already on. Shockwave has already started. and catches Zed right there. He can't do anything. It's freaking beautiful.
And
I
exhaust
love
again.
this team. Yeah, and exhaust again just for good measure. And now it's cleanup. It's really beautiful. This is almost a great play by Insect, but the Q still gets him.
Uzi spacing in that fight as well. You saw him hesitate and step backwards, and you ask yourself why. He's standing right next to Janna all the time, so when Thresh turns around and hooks, Janna can move forward, take the hook, and Uzi can clean up.
It's so funny because whether you watch Season 3 World Championships Royal or this Royal Club, everyone on that team will form a concave to protect Uzi when he's in danger because they know this guy has the skills to carry, and he did.
Freak, I just want to quickly ask your opinion on Royal Club. Again, a bad call in the Baron pit earlier in the game.
Yeah.
I know you felt quite strongly about some of the decision-making leading up to that. Is this going to cost them the rest of the series if they do it again?
I don't know if it'll cost them the rest of the series. They've got 3 chances now to close the series out. This looks to be a series win for Royal Club. EDG could always surprise. As Jat talked about, Insec has lost series starting out 2-0 before. But the Baron thing that was weird to me, the misplay, is so Baron, when it attacks you, puts a debuff on that lowers your damage output by half for a few seconds. To properly juggle Baron aggro, one person tanks for like 3 or 4 seconds, then swaps. If you swap attack for attack for attack, you lose a ton of damage output, you kill Baron slow, and when we saw them get caught out, if they had juggled Baron properly, they kill Baron, get out in time, and don't lose 3 kills.
And we saw them misplaying the dragon juggling earlier as well. Just before we move on to the Twitter segment, I want to highlight Uzi once more. In the 2 games that he's played, he's gone 14, 1, and 6. This is the AD carry that made it to the World Finals. That's just Game 2. It's actually even higher if you include his Game 1 stats. And this is, again, AD carry that needs to be shut down in Game 3. We're going to put a pin in this for just a minute while we take a look at what you guys have been saying on Twitter. Earlier in the show, we asked you, what is your favorite rivalry of the 2014 World Championship? Here's a few of our favorite answers. First one from @Lycantus086. He tweets, the rivalry between Samsung Blue and Samsung White. I'm certain that Samsung White is tired of finishing second to their sister team at home. I know Crepo liked that one earlier today. Next one, @SLRago says, my favorite rivalry at Worlds has to be Double Lift and the rest of the analyst desk. So many great back and forths between these guys. Hey, we've been nice. We've been nice. And finally,
Not much of a rivalry if you can't find back into it.
Oh, next one, @Alonzo RDZ, he chimes in with, my favorite rivalry is the starting time of the stream and my fatigue Pacific time. Dude, props to you for joining in. And thank you for reminding us about that. Tomorrow's series between Najin White Shield and China's OMG will actually kick off on Monday at 10 a.m. Central European Summer Time, which is 1 a.m. Pacific. It is different from today, so be sure to get your sleep, Alonzo, before that match. We're going to step away for a minute. We'll be right back with Game 3 between Starhorn Royal Club and Edward Gaming. Don't touch that mouse.
That's not going to be what he wanted. More kills coming up for Uzi. Onto Cordo. That no distance to follow, but they are going to be able to lock down the quadra kill. Uzi stays alive with the help of 2 shields. That's the pop-up from Monsoon. Trying to hit it. Insect locked it down.
Well, they are going to be able to get the Baron, but will they be able to get out? Uzi goes down. They end up losing Cola. Insect will fall as well. It's going to be Uzi to get another one. They try and blast him down from the side. There's the Monsoon coming out. Uzi gets all the shields. In comes you. You will actually go down.
But a pretty fed twit. Everyone runs. Whoa! It doesn't have to be the best equalizer when you got Uzi with shields on him.